Welcome to the Book Buzz Show with Cheryl, where we dive into the captivating world of books. Here at the Book Buzz Show, we encourage you to make your pages turn with joy and immerse yourself in a magical literary experience. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Book Buzz Show with Cheryl, where we dive into the captivating world of books. Here at the Book Buzz Show, we encourage you to make your pages turn with joy and immerse yourself in a magical literary experience. Enjoy the show.
Hello, and welcome to the Book Buzz Show. I'm your host, Cheryl Brooks. And if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. If you enjoy the upcoming show, please like, follow, and subscribe if you haven't already, and share the broadcast so others can also enjoy it. For those of you who are new here at the Book Buzz Show, we do discuss the book with minor spoilers, but we don't give anything too major that will ruin the experience for you. Also, in addition to being a live broadcast, the Book Buzz Show is now also a podcast. So you can follow us at the Book Buzz Show with Cheryl, where you get your podcasts on those platforms, so you can check us out when you're on the go. Also, tonight's episode is being brought to you in partnership with Black Odyssey Media. And here is their logo on the screen for those who are watching. For those who are listening, again, that's Black Odyssey Media. Make sure to check them out in their roster of authors at blackodyssey.net. And here are a few of their authors' book covers on the screen. We've had a few of them on the show. So you can go back through our broadcasts if you haven't seen those and check those out as well. All right. And we have a great show in store for you tonight. We will be speaking with author D.L. White, and we'll be talking about her book, Hey Lover. And that is the cover on the screen for those who are watching. Again, that's Hey Lover by D.L. White. And without further ado, we're going to bring on tonight's guest, along with my co-host for this evening, Jennifer Copeland. Hello, ladies. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you, Jennifer, for co-hosting.
Hello, it's great to be here.
And it looks like we have a few people in the audience. Hi, Ola. Thank you for joining us this evening. Shavana, thank you for joining us. Myra, thank you for joining us. And it looks like we have Antoinette tonight. Thank you for joining us. And is that Michaela? I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Hello, and thank you for joining us. Hi, Katina. Thank you for joining us. All right, so DL, we're gonna get right into it.
All right.
For those who are new to you, can you tell us a little bit about your professional writing journey and how you got started?
I got started actually with fan fiction. Don't know if people know what fan fiction is, but it's just literally like fandom dreaming about your favorite show, your favorite movie, your favorite music group, and writing your stories based on, inspired by the actors, the singers, the characters, what have you. I wrote NSYNC fan fiction, actually still write NSYNC fan fiction. And that's where I started in like 2008. I mean, I'm a lifelong writer. I was writing since I was a child, but I was like writing for other people in 2008 when I started writing fan fiction. And the idea for my debut novel came to me around 2009, 2010. I started writing it in 2011, and then I published in 2015.
What was the first? What was the first published book?
My first book was Brunch at Ruby's. It is women's fiction with romantic elements. Certain people named Beverly Jenkins call it a romance, but it is not a romance.
It's not a
It has
romance.
romance in it. Not to spoil anything, but it has romantic elements. But the ultimate, the overarching story is the lifelong friendship between Deborah, Maxine, and Renee, and their monthly brunch at an Atlanta soul food cafe.
Okay, and that's what I'll tell you. I'm gonna have to check that one out because I love stories about sisterhood, friendships, and
Mhm.
brotherhood. So I'm gonna check that out.
It's a good one, if I may say so myself. It's a good one, and it's still on sale in ebook
Okay,
and audio.
great, great. And you said that one came out in 2015.
Yes, 2015.
Now, did you self-publish or did you go the traditional route?
Self-published. I did. I did query that book around 2013, maybe early 2014, and got a lot of, I don't think I can sell this. And I was like, really?
Mm.
Because this is like every Terry McMillan book ever. Really? Okay. So then I was a little depressed about it, and I was going to give up. And author Tayari Jones, she's a prolific Atlanta-based author, just sent me an email. She said, I want you to take a break, and then I want you to get back to it because I know you can do this. I know you can do this. And I was like, okay. All right. And so then I was like, you know what? I have put a lot of years into this book, and
Mhm.
it's gonna come out. And if only me and my mama buy it, it's gonna come out. We're gonna have it on our shelves, me and my mama. So I decided to go ahead and self-publish. I think that year, NaNoWriMo 2014, I tore it apart, put it back together. I worked evenings and weekends rewriting that book, and then I published it in 2015.
Okay. And I love you. So you definitely have to have a thick skin. I'm getting that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I queried 100 agents or anything, but I just felt like I was gonna get a whole lot of, can't sell
Mm.
this, not for me, thanks. But and I just felt like I didn't want to put myself through that 99 more times. I wasn't, I wasn't going to get the response that I was looking for. I feel like even back then there's a certain kind of author that could query a manuscript, and they would see the potential and like, hey, let's work on this. Let's get you with an editor. Let's
Right.
rework this. And I just wasn't even getting that. And so, just get to a point where if you believe the work is good and you want the work out, you have to get yourself to a point where you put that work out there yourself. And thankfully at that point we had the opportunity and the means to publish ourselves and put our own books out the
Mhm.
way we want to put them out. So yeah,
Yeah, and that definitely changed the game for
yeah, for
people.
sure.
Yeah. How long before when you first started writing it to when you actually published it?
I started 2011. I was not ready to write this book when I started writing it, but I got the idea and I was so excited that I started writing. And I went through many, many, many revisions before I ended up with the finished copy. I started in 2011. Yeah, I had like a lot of iterations. It originally had 4 points of view, and then the fourth point of view was just really weak, and I couldn't really think of anything for her, so I dropped her. We ended up with just three, and it was just a lot of stops and starts, and this doesn't sound good, and this is not good writing, and I don't like this, and oh, I got it, I got it, I got it, got it. And then I had one character that I didn't even really like until almost the end of the book because I really just had to figure her out. And one of the best tools in my arsenal that I had were my friends. I have a brunch group, and the ladies in the book are based on my brunch group. And I would tell them about the book at our monthly brunch, and they were like, "What about this? And think about that." And so they were like, "You got to figure out her story. What's her story? What's her motivation? Why is she the way that she is?" And once you figure that out, then I think that you'll be able to like sense her character and
Right.
be able to write her story and actually give her, a reasonable character arc, not just her in interaction with the other two in the book, but
Mhm.
her own story. And so that just opened up doors, and then I just couldn't write fast enough. So
I love that, and I love that you had your sister friends who supported it, and
absolutely.
definitely.
Yes. I have been stuck on many a book and just been like, we need to have a brunch because I need help.
Hello, Elle. Thank you for joining us. Uh, hello, Tony Bonita. Thank you for joining us. And Michaela said I said her name right. Great. All right. So now, do you normally come up with the characters first or the plot first when you're writing?
Usually characters. It depends though on like Beach Thing, for example. I wanted to write a story at the beach.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of where that just came in. Like, I love a beach vacation. I love to go to the beach. The beach is my favorite place to write. And I was going to like St. Simon's and Tampa and Myrtle Beach and Galveston and
Okay.
Destin. And like, it's so, Beach Thing was like, I want to write I want to write a beach set romance. And so really the place came to me first.
Okay.
But for the most part, it's characters. They just come sit down in my head and start talking, and they don't shut up until I write it down. So it's a lot of characters. For it's a lot of like a lot of my stories come from eavesdropping. I'm very nosy. And if I hear a good story, it's going in a book. And so I like a couple of characters I heard on my way out of work. A couple of characters come from hearing some lady going off in the elevator on her
Mm.
ex-husband about the IRS trying to take some money. I ain't got no $50,000. Why do I owe $50,000? And I was like,
Say,
what we
a
talking about?
story.
What we talking about? What we talking about, man? Because it's going in
Right.
a book. So sometimes people just really impress themselves upon me. Sometimes it's just a name, and the character builds itself
Okay.
around the name. But almost always character first.
Love that. Love that. Hi, Midnight. Thank you for joining us. All right. And when you're deep in writing mode, what does a typical day look like for you?
So I work a day job that I'm very thankful for. Because I could not live off of my writing income. This is, basically what do they call it?
Labor of
Something
love,
of the heart, a
basically.
labor of love, a
Mhm.
labor of sometimes love and mostly obsession. I have a day job, and so like that's where a lot of my concentration goes to. That's where my energy goes to. So I write in spurts. I get
Mm.
a book idea, and I write here and there occasionally. I'm not an outliner, so I get an idea and I think about it, and I think about it, and I think about it, and I build my little Pinterest board and put things in it. These are the shoes they like to wear. These are the clothes they like to wear. This is house, apartment, books, clothing, physique, just so
Okay.
they live in my head and they become real people. And
Mhm.
after a while, the story like really starts to take shape. And I know when that first chapter is rolling around in my head nonstop, it's time to start writing. And so I write when I can on the
Okay.
weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, usually. But I'm not like, put your butt in a chair and write 38 chapters right now, 3 hours, let's go. I'm not, no, it won't happen. I will just turn on Law and Order and watch 4 episodes because I'm just not doing it. So I write until I get to a point, I call it the point of no return,
Mm-hmm.
where I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And now I just want to be done. Like I know how this book is going to end, and I'm really excited, and I know what's going to happen in this book. And these characters are so awesome, and they're so cute. I want to finish. Let's go. And then I write every chance I get on my lunch break. I almost never write on a Monday. You know, I am almost on at the end of a book if I am writing on a
On a Monday.
Monday after work. You know, I'm almost there. I'm just really excited, and I got to get it done. So, I write, you know, happenstance until I know it's going to happen. Especially if my editor says I need it by this date at
Right.
the very latest. And I'm like, okay, guess I better
We say better
get my
get
butt in gear and start writing. And so
uh,
then I write Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a few hours at a time. I'm not a 8 hour a day person. I usually a chapter at a time. I got to know where I'm going. I get in, I got to warm up, you know, like my,
mhm.
um, if I'm like, you know, on deadline, I might do, you know, an all day, but like 4 hours at a time. What I really, really like doing lately is I book a hotel room Friday night through Sunday afternoon. I just go in Friday, 3 o'clock, unpack, set my timer. I write till 7, eat. Right till 8:30, done. Pick out a movie, have a snack. Saturday morning, 8 to 12:30, write lunch. 2:30 to 4, write break. And so like I do those like writing
Right.
sprints over the weekend because I'm not at home and I don't have anything to distract me from
Mhm.
writing. There's a reason I'm not at home because if I'm at home, there's laundry that can be done. I got to clean out the sink. I need to scrub the kitchen. Uh, I can
Say
meal
all kind of
prep,
things come up.
all kinds of stuff that I can distract myself with. If I am not at home, I know there's a reason I'm not at home and there's nothing else for me to do
Right.
but write. And so and when I'm really, really, really at the end, I book a hotel room 3, 4 weekends and it's in the bag.
I love that idea though of going to a hotel and just
Hmm.
basically getting away, and then it's like your own little
Yeah.
mini
I started
vacation.
doing that with Brunch at Ruby's because I live alone.
Mhm.
But I lived alone then, I don't live alone now, but my roommate's gone a lot, so I have the house to myself mostly, but, like, me in this room, I can find a whole lot of things to distract me, so I started doing that with Brunch at Ruby's. I had a whole lot of Marriott points, so I was at a Home
Okay.
2 Suites every weekend, tearing that book apart, putting it back together, and it lets me,
Mhm.
like, tunnel vision, just concentrate. There's nothing else I need to be doing right now but writing this book. And so I did that a couple weekends ago in Atlanta, and then I was in New Orleans the other weekend, and it's really
Hmm.
great for me to just focus. Yeah, I love that.
And I love when I ask this of different authors, I love because everybody has their own way of
Hmm.
doing things. So I love hearing because some people like to have a lot of noise around them, so they go to
Yeah,
like a coffee house and all that kind
coffee
of stuff.
shop.
So, mhm. So I
Yeah.
love that. Now, what was some of the best advice that you've gotten since you began your writing journey?
Um, I mean, first, remember why you started writing. Like, there's a reason that you do this. It's hard. Writing is hard. I won't say writing a good book is hard.
Mhm, mhm.
Writing a good book that your readers will like, that will connect with the audience intended is hard.
Right.
But also, like, know yourself, know your process. And there's a lot of people that are going to shoot advice out to you. You should not edit while you write. You should do this. You should do that. You should have morning hours. You should do morning pages. You should do that. And you have to know your process, know how you write, know what's going to work for you. It's not a race. Nobody gets graded on this.
Right.
However, you get to the end is the right way to write for you. Can you improve upon that process? Of course. But I feel like writers need to know themselves. Like one of the best courses I ever took was Becca Syme. has this Write Better Faster course. And it's not about putting your butt in a seat and writing for 6 hours a day. It's about knowing who you are as a person intrinsically, how you do things in your everyday life, and then applying that to your writing life. I'm a thinker. I'm introspective. I need to like research. I need to like bring things in and let it sit and let it simmer. I have to be okay with that process. I am not a person that's going to be able to shoot out a book in 30 days, 60 days. I am not a person that I'm not a rapid releaser. I'm not going to be able to turn over material because I need that time to think about it. It has to marinate. It has to write itself in my head. It has to have that time to be real for me. And I have to be okay with that being my process and not beat myself up because I'm not like this writer or that writer that can just sit down and shoot out, you know, a book a month, a book every 6 weeks, a book every 8 weeks or whatever. One of my friends, Stephanie Nicole Norris, like, I'm tired. Stephanie be putting out the book.
It's like, several authors I've noticed, that put them out pretty quick. Yeah.
How many of y'all is it over there? Because you be right. I mean, she's a full-time writer. That's her job, but she be writing. I'm like, Stephanie, I cannot keep up with you. She's like, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to do what you do. But that applies
to any part of your life, though, as far as what works for you and not necessarily what works for somebody else is going to work for you in every facet of your life. Yeah. So I love that. I love that. Now, as far as romance, when you think of like the ultimate romance book or movie, what would you choose?
Ooh, I'm going to say Pride and Prejudice.
Okay.
Pride and Prejudice, because I love me an enemies to lover. I love me a cross-class romance. I love a grumpy sunshine, although I wouldn't say Darcy and Elizabeth were grumpy sunshine. They were both kind of grumpy.
They were both kind of right.
Darcy is like that really like gruff exterior, and you have to like kind of chip at it. And then like the grand gesture in that book where he's like, look, I really like you and I don't want to. Right? And I'm like, oh, it's so delicious.
And she said, wait a minute, is that a compliment?
Right. And Elizabeth is so like, I'm not gonna just lay down at your feet because you are who you are and you're rich and you have rich friends and your best friends dating my best friend or your best friends dating my sister, and they're like just the happiest couple ever over there. But I just love like all of that. It's like all of the tropes that I really like in one book. I probably watch the BBC miniseries once a year. I love me some Colin Firth and Jennifer Eel. Like book wise, I can't think of like a really romantic book, but like Pride and Prejudice does it for me, and like really any variation thereof. An enemies to lover, a cross class, a grumpy sunshine. Put it into my face. I'm all about it.
So have you tried to read? Have you read it? Pride and Prejudice?
I have tried to read it. I actually like Jennifer Eel during the height of the pandemic was reading it aloud. And so I would tune in to her reading it. I have read parts of it, but the language and the dialect is hard for me to slog through. I much prefer the film or having it read to me by one of the stars of the miniseries. But I think I like just the general gist, and that's probably the only Jane Austen that I really like feel a kinship to. Like,
oh, really?
Sense and Sensibility is okay.
That's one of my favorite Sense and Sensibility.
Yeah, I love Sense and Sensibility. But you know, that one just gets me in the heart.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites too. And I've tried to read. I actually have it over there on my shelf. A few Jane Austen books. I love the period, and I'm all into all
Yeah.
of them. Only thing I haven't gotten into Mansfield Park. I haven't gotten into
Yeah. Yeah. I really
that.
should, but there's so many books I want to read. I don't have time to like really dig into Jane Austen like that. But
Right.
yeah.
Yes, love it. Now, because writing can be hard on your body and it's an isolating profession, what do you do as far as self care for yourself?
I am a reader. I will read before I write. I will read after I write. I will read just because it's Tuesday. That's my like for me, like it really showed its face during the beginning of the pandemic. I think I read probably almost 200 books during the pandemic because if I wasn't reading, I couldn't watch the news.
Mm.
I couldn't check the internet. I couldn't doom scroll. Like my boss threatened to come to my house and block the CDC website because I just was like fixated on the
Right,
numbers and the
right.
press conferences. And he's like, you are going to give yourself an ulcer. You can't, you got to like find a way to like detach. And so
Mhm,
I found through books, it's my way of disassociating and
mhm,
putting myself in another world. It's like it's my comfort zone, it's my safe space. I also, I love my weekends. I book myself somewhere. I love a good beach trip, but also like I love a good walk outside. Like just I just need to like I need to get out of this chair. I need to like get away from the world. I need to like turn my brain off, put on some music, read a book, watch a
mhm.
TV show. Like I don't watch a whole lot of TV, but I got like, my little faves. Let me watch like 6 episodes of Monk. Let me put on Law and Order. I'm gonna watch
Right,
all of Rizzoli
right.
Isles today. So I'm
You're
very introverted. I do not mind my bedroom at all. But like if I'm really in dire straits, I have great friends that I can call. Hey, let's go do brunch. Let's
Mhm.
go for a walk. Let's go see a movie. I do not like the phone. So if I call you, who pick up because I need you. So I
So if
almost
you call,
never
they know
ever
that
pick up the
it's a
phone.
real deal. There's
Right,
something going on.
right, right. Yeah.
But me and Jennifer, we definitely can appreciate the reading because that's it for me too, as far as an escape. Movies too. Movies do it for me as well.
Yeah.
Um, Now, what genre do you usually read in when you're
I love a thriller.
mm.
Amazingly enough, I write romance, but I love like a crime fiction, like a gritty thriller. I like Karen Slaughter. Um, what's his name? Now names just fly out of my head. Put a microphone in front of me, I can't think of nothing. But like, I love me some
Right.
Karen Slaughter, some Lisa Gardner. I love a thriller, a crime fiction,
Hmm.
a detective novel. I love a detective novel, a
Yeah, I do
medical
too.
examiner novel,
Mhm.
or a good romantic suspense. You had Sharon C. Cooper on a while. She's my
Yes,
favorite.
yes,
Like
yes.
just like an Atlanta's Finest is good for me. I'm real
Oh,
good
I
with an
love that
Atlanta's
series.
Finest.
Love it,
I
love it,
love
love
that whole series.
it.
So like Sharon, you got a new book coming? Because I need more. So, yeah,
Shavana is saying
so
she books are like that for her too.
yeah, yeah.
You
Now
probably have a
I'm a big romance reader. If I'm writing romance, I will read a romance, but dessert for me is a thriller, a crime fiction novel,
Mhm.
yeah, something or like a good documentary, something like that.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you for joining us. And I'm glad you said that because I know it varies with authors. Because I know some say that when they're writing, they can't read. Some say they can't read at all, but some say they can't read in the same genre that they write.
Yeah,
Um,
almost always. I find for me, I need to stay in the mood. Like there's a cadence to a romance novel, just like there's a cadence to a crime fiction novel. And if I read crime fiction while I'm writing romance, not only is somebody probably going to be murdered, but it's the sentences are short and choppy and informative and blah 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 blah. But romance is like this, and it's more
right.
lyrical and um sensuous and attractive, and I need to stay in that mood. I
In that
also
mode.
get good ideas from how other writers approach. Like I'm writing a workplace romance right now, so I'm gobbling up all of the workplace romance because I need to think of every situation I can possibly think of where two characters who work together. What do they talk about? What are they doing? Like for me, it's not like, okay, she wrote them having lunch, having a conversation about X. So I'm going to write them having lunch, having a conversation about X. But now I'm thinking about, okay, I need to think about them two in a spot. They're having a conversation. There's other people around. What can they be talking about? What can their banter be? Like, I need to be in that world, that atmosphere, that mood. I have to stay in that especially while I'm in the thick of writing it. But then when I'm done writing, it's like a little palate cleanser. If I pull out something like really gritty, grisly, very because one of my favorites, of course, Tiari also says that she reads crime thrillers because it reminds her that there are steps and there's an end. There's this and it's solved, and there's this and it's solved, and there's clues and there's steps and there's lily pads. So you can take some of that and you can put it into your other genres of writing. So I try to mix it up if I can, but I gotta stay like in a lovey-dovey, soft cocoon cushion. Otherwise, my romance is gonna sound real like choppy and straightforward, and nobody wants that.
And that makes sense too. I can see that where you wouldn't necessarily go to horror if you're trying to do romance.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah.
Right.
So that definitely makes sense to me. Now, what keeps you motivated in life and in your writing? What keeps you going?
Gosh, that's a really good question. I I have, of course, writing goals. My first goal was to hit 10 books. I hit 10 books with The Neverlist, which came out in 2020. And the next goal is 20 books, and I'm writing book 14 right now. So I always am like, oh, once I get here, I'll do this. And once I get here, then I'll do this. So I'm kind of always thinking a little bit ahead, but also like whether I'm motivated or not, these stories, they gonna come. I can see two people walking down the street and write a short story in my head about what are they talking about? What are they doing? What are they saying? Where are they going? Where have they been? Who are their mama? What's like, you'll see two people walking down the street and go, wonder where they're going. And it goes out of your head. For me, like those people sit in my head and they don't leave until I write the story. Like whether I'm motivated or not, these stories come.
It's gonna come out.
Y'all don't get these books. So like,
well, that's good.
I may as well just get with the program and go. But like seeing my books are like sitting over there. Here, I got a book here. Seeing my books on my bookshelf. Seeing people read the books, when people reach out to me like, oh, I read this book and I loved it so much, or I read this book and I couldn't stand this character, and I'm like, thank you, because I wrote her to not be liked. That is like really heartwarming to me, and for readers to be like, I saw myself in this book, I understood the situation, I really like this book because I feel like you were speaking to me, you were writing to me, you were writing about me. That just spurs me on. That really keeps me going. And I try not to write for people and be motivated for people, but I do write to people. I do write to an audience, and like here's what I've got. You may take it or leave it, but here it is. So
love it. Okay, so tonight we are talking about Hey Lover. And can you give a brief overview of what Hey Lover is about for those who haven't read it yet?
Hey Lover is a second chance romance, which is one of my favorite tropes aside from enemies to lovers, because I love when people get a second chance to find love. It is between India and Malik, who were together in college and right out of college, and they were just like thick as thieves but Malik was having some issues in life and going through a difficult time. He became very depressed and he ended up breaking up with India because he felt like he was going to drag her down when she was at the height of her career and climbing higher. So he broke up with her and he's like, hey, I'm gonna let you go on because you might be the perfect person for someone out there. And she's like, okay, I may not be around when you decide that you're ready for a relationship. Well, a span of time passes and Malik is doing much better in life. He's never forgotten her. He's never gotten over her. And he happens to see her in the media because she just took over her father's company. And something about seeing her inspires him to reach out to her on the off chance that she might open that door again. And Hey Lover is their song from college. And it just literally came and sat in my head. I was on my way to work listening to LL Cool J's Rock the Bells radio, and Hey Lover came on, and the story just started writing itself in my
Yep.
head. And I love that song. So
And
just,
I actually started playing the song when it was mentioned in the book. So
yep.
yeah, I love it, and I think this would be a good time for you to read the little snippet that you're going to read, and I'm going to bring you forward when you start reading it.
All right.
So we'll still be here, but you'll be forward.
Okay.
And you want to set up the scene of which one you're going to the part you're reading.
This scene is in the very beginning of the book. It's about chapter 7. India's best friend is named Stina, short for Christina. And Stina is like her voice of conscience. It's like, hey, watch yourself, honey. Have fun, but watch yourself. And so this is India and Malik are just getting ready to meet up again.
Okay.
All right. Text message. India. In the interest of not keeping things from you, I may come in late tomorrow. The FaceTime notification rang out, and Stina's face popped up on my phone. Relax, fun police, I said, cackling as I picked up, then scooted back on the bed and relaxed against a mountain of pillows. I'm alone. You're not slick, by the way, FaceTiming instead of calling. Stina heaved an obviously exasperated breath. I loved getting her all worked up. She was barefaced, her brown skin dewy fresh. She wore a festive pair of pajamas and was seated at the vanity in her well-lit bathroom. Her hair was halfway wrapped, so she was on her way to bed. I knew he wasn't over there, she said, pointing at the camera with her paddle brush. But I can tell you got something going on. He's on the way over there, isn't he? I glanced at the tablet on my nightstand, where a duplicate of my personal email account was on display. On my way, he'd sent just a minute ago. Maybe. India Parker. Fine, since you know so much. Yes, he is on the way. And before you butt in, I know. My eyes are wide open. I know exactly what he is coming over here for. And if he wants it, he can get it. Tony had sex today, and I didn't, and that ain't right. You're not keeping score with Anthonius. I deserve to feel good after today. Tell me I'm wrong for thinking that? Nope, not wrong at all. Okay, so that's what's happening, and I wanted you to know what was up. Thanks for the scoop, but honey. She pushed a hard breath from her lungs as she resumed wrapping her hair, pushing the silky press around her head with a brush. Did you look him up at all? What do the Googles say? Do I have to remind you that I am intimately acquainted with Malik? I don't need to look him up. She lowered the brush again and stared directly into the camera, right through my damn soul. What if he shows up talking about his wife of 5 years and their beautiful twin boys? What if he wants to show off his white picket fence and his life in the burbs? Then my thirsty ass gets what I deserve. But I'll tell you something, Stina, I continued, a sultry smile spreading slowly across my lips. Malik Hines did not send me a specialty flower arrangement and get in his car after 10 o'clock on a Thursday night to come and tell me about his wife and children. She pursed her lips while sliding bobby pins into her hair. Then she picked up a scarf and fluttered it out, letting it settle over her hair. And that's how you lookin'. Scarf and sleep shirt? You're gonna make him work, huh? It's not like he's never seen me in a headscarf. And excuse me, this scarf is stylish. Check out my cute bow and everything. I turned my head to the side to show off my skills. If I still know Malik, it will not faze him one bit. And what if you don't know Malik? What if this man is a completely different person 7 years later? What if he gets over there and he don't want nothing but to talk? Then we'll talk. At which point it won't matter that I'm in my scarf. I'm not about to get up and get fined for him. I don't have to impress him. I did all that work already, and I'm not going backwards. I guess. Now, I know you know, but I have to say it. If something jumps off, make sure he wraps it up. What do you mean, if? My goal for tonight is make sure something jumps off.
All right, all right. Love it, love it. Okay, so we're going to get into a little bit into the book, into the characters. Now, with Malik, I was glad to see that he had grown from when him and he and India were first together. But I did think when they came back together, India, I wanted her to give him a little, make it harder for him to come back because just of the way he loved her. Was that intentional to have it, where she didn't make him, wait too long to come back into her life?
It was intentional. I feel like she had an ex-boyfriend, Tony, that she had been kind of fake dating for 3 years. And I feel like Tony was like a placeholder for someone in her life that wasn't all that serious, just in case Malik wanted to spin the block again. I feel like she was holding that place for him and just waiting for him to come back because he was who she wanted. I have had books where the characters, especially in a second chance romance, where the heroine makes the hero work really hard at it. And sometimes it's appropriate to make him work because the way in which he left y'all, no, he need to like do a little more groveling, do a little more work.
Right.
In this book. Yeah, I just didn't feel led to make Malik work that hard. Like she wanted to be back with him.
Right.
And I think she didn't want to play any games. And I really honestly think Malik expected games. He expected it to be hard. He expected her to be bitter and he expected to have to work at it. And her not making him work at it made it honestly a little bit harder for him. Like it was a little too good to be true for him. So I kind of wanted to come at it like from that angle.
And you did a great job with that too, because I did get that sense that that she wasn't about to, play games like you said, because she had been wanting him to come back into her life. And her best friend is actually the one who was trying to get her to, not let him back in because she said, I saw what you went through when he left you. I don't want you to get hurt again. And although she was taking in what her friend was saying, she already knew in the back of her mind, basically, that
she already knew.
Right.
It's going to happen.
Right. Myra said she worked in the fitting room at TJ Maxx and think of stories about the customers.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be a good place to get a lot of inspiration for sure. Jennifer, what did you think about Malik and India coming back together?
Like y'all said, like DL said, I felt Tony was a placeholder until Malik got himself together. Because I definitely didn't like him. And especially when she saw what she saw.
Okay, so let's talk about India and Tony, because I was going to ask you kind of already answered this. Was that actually a fake boyfriend or was it a relationship? Because I kind of got both vibes that it might have been like maybe
it was an arrangement.
Right.
It was an arrangement. It was more like, we're two upwardly mobile very visible. Black people, we need to be seen together. We can help each other type of thing. And of course, you get into something that's been 3 years. They're comfortable with each other. They gonna have some fun. They gonna get it in. But it's not like Malik was saying, when he looked at them, he didn't see a real relationship. There were no romantic Miami Beach photos. There were no candlelight dinners. They weren't like, looking longingly into each other's eyes. They could be cousins for all he knew. So he knew by looking at the photos of them that wasn't real. And I think for those two, I think Tony actually started to have feelings for India, but India was not really having it. And he was like, look, let's do this for real, because like, you holding me up. Like, let's do this for real, or let's break up, because you hold me up. I'm in my like prime baby making years, and like, we need to move forward, or I need to let you go. And then when India starts showing up with somebody else, he's like, oh, yeah, okay, fine, bye. And he's like, oh wait.
Right. And that's usually what happens. They don't want to be
exactly. Then he started having an issue. Now he wants something serious. So
right.
He was definitely an arrangement, a placeholder. I think that's how India always saw it, and Tony was kind of working himself in the other direction, but also not really taking it seriously, because like, he ain't even know her favorite flower.
Right. And then it was interesting too when her father admitted that he actually always liked Malik and not really cared for Tony too much.
He really liked Tony.
Right. And she thought that he liked Tony, just because of how he was on paper, basically. And like I told you, I love when it's strong friendships in the story. So I love the relationship between India and Stina. And I also love the interaction between them as far as trying to figure out their new roles, because India was the boss now, and had to put those boundaries in place at the workplace.
Yes. Yeah, that was actually one of my favorite scenes to write, was India and Stina kind of battling for control. Like, I know you're my best friend, but you need to remember where you are and who I am to you in this office. And you being real crazy right now. You going a little to the left. Come correct, figure it out, come back to me. But like those boundary situations, like when you are your best friend's boss, like it's gotta be difficult, like to acknowledge the authority that a person has over you, but also after 5 o'clock be like, now let me tell you something, and listen to me good. So I mean, I think Stina was right. Honestly, I think Stina was right all along, and she needed to be there. She needed to be that voice of reason in India's ear, because she was going to go all the way off the deep end.
Right. And I could relate to India wanting to do what she could to help Malik and to fix the problem, because that's innate in us to want to to be nurturers and fixers, and so I did understand what Stina was saying too. Is this is your business, you got to separate your heart from your business. You need to make a business decision.
It needs to make good business sense.
Loved it, and didn't like Quinn. That was the co-worker at the he was in her father's
he was a friend of her father.
So he didn't take her seriously. So I love that boardroom scene as well.
Yes.
Yeah, to let them know, right?
Yes. You had to let them know.
I am not the little girl. I'm your boss now,
Exactly. Quinn had to know. Quinn really had to be. And then between Quinn and Stina, my editor said, you need to be nastier than that. And I was like, you know what? I felt like they were in the office, and that was the highest I could get for Stina to still be professional, but it was about to come to blows in that boardroom.
And I love that she had her people that were rooting for her and had her back. Because I love what was her name? Evelyn.
Evelyn.
I loved her. she was like a mama bear at work,
Yes.
and I loved her little quotes from her
Little say
grandkids.
for our
Her little
grandbabies. Yeah.
sayings, yes. Loved her
Yeah.
character as
Evelyn,
well.
Evelyn is me, actually.
All right.
I'm like, what do the kids be saying? Do the kids still say lit?
Right.
Am I cool? Am I cool yet? Okay. No? Okay.
Yeah, those were some of
Evelyn
my
was me.
favorite, like light when Evelyn was in the scene with India. What about you, Jennifer? What were some of your standout moments or favorite scenes?
Evelyn in the scenes was one, and then when India finally renovated her office,
Oh
her new
yeah.
office that her daddy
Mhm.
had, and her stepmama said, "Well, it did look like a Coke 45 commercial or whatever," and I died laughing.
Yeah, love that. Um,
I did love that.
yes, and I loved her relationship with her too, with Junie, I believe it was her name.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah,
Mhm.
so she had a lot of like the support of people
Yeah.
behind her, even her father, because her father was stepping back, even though he still, he didn't want to step all the way back, but he was
Right.
given he knew that she was in a position to do what her role encompassed. So I love their
Yeah.
relationship as well.
Yeah. I like
Um,
also like he let her stand on her own 2 feet. Like she
y-
definitely had her challenges with, bringing the staff over. But that boardroom scene was definitely India being like, "Look, I'm here.
mhm.
Y'all can deal with it or you can get out. But I am Tucker
Right.
Enterprises. I
yeah.
am the CEO and president. So if you got a problem with that, there's the door.
There's the door.
You can speak to HR about it. But if you stay sitting in this office, you work for me, and
Mhm.
we put out the vision that I have set for this company, and like you can run to my daddy if you want to, but
Right,
I
right.
have his full support. So, decide what you want to do, but I'm going this way. So, yeah, I thought it was very good, especially for Bronson to retire while he still had so many years left in his life.
Yes.
Like he was gonna then pick up tennis and golf, and he was still like very like young at heart. Like giving
Right.
her the opportunity to take over the company, to step into her destiny. Like she was always meant for that spot. Like her brothers went and started their own businesses. She was
Mhm.
always meant to take over the company. She was groomed for that position. And I think that's also something that Malik saw when he
Mhm.
dated her. Like even way back in college, he always knew that she was meant for that position.
Right.
And I think he just felt like he was not going to be able to compete, and he didn't want to become a drag on her, and he didn't want to be the person that she supports. He wanted to be next to her, not behind her, which,
Mhm.
she had an issue with. Like we doing like some macho,
Right.
like I can't be the breadwinner type situation here. Like let me know when you wake up and you come into the current century and you realize that I can be, like I can be the head of this household, that type of situation. But I think for Malik, for himself, for his own ego, needed to also be at that point. So he got himself to the point where he was CEO of Heinz Tech, and he was doing his own thing and had his own measure of success and didn't feel like he needed to bite off of her to get to
Mhm.
where he was. All he wanted was a chance to build himself up, and be the man that he knew that he could be, so that he could actually deserve to be there next to
Mhm.
her.
I tried to put myself in his shoes because, and I like that you said ego because I think a lot of it was ego. Um,
Hmm. Very
but I
much.
also think that he was young and had a lot on his plate with his father's
Mhm,
illness and all of that.
mhm,
And he probably felt overwhelmed. I
mhm.
like in when they got back together that when he was more mature, he acknowledged that she's shown him how you support each other through all of
Yes.
that. They could
Yes.
have been together all this time.
All that
Uh, it-
time.
yeah, but he
Yeah.
wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for
No.
for it, and he didn't
He
see.
definitely needed that time to mature. Like whether or not they would have stayed together that whole time, he definitely
Right.
needed that time, that time to mature. Because India was being groomed for that position, and maybe she needed also time to grow from, an employee to director of operations to,
The head
the
honcho, right?
position where the head honcho, she had to grow too. She had to develop, to that spot too. But Malik did not have someone in the driver's seat. Malik did not have someone training him and grooming him and and teaching him the lessons. And I think he didn't want to learn those lessons secondhand from
Mhm.
India while she's also going through it. So
Yes, and I loved also the relationship between Malik and his brother, Brandon, I
yeah,
believe was his name,
I love
and
Brandon.
Brandon actually kept it real with him as well, and he kept them
Yes.
balanced. He kept, yeah,
Mhm.
him from
Because
spiraling.
both of them were very golden retriever about each other. Both of them were like, "Ooh, see her. Go, go, go." And between Stina and Brandon, they were like holding it back, like, "Hold up, hold up, hold up,
Yes,
hold up, hold up.
yes.
Think about what you're doing. It has to make sense."
Hmm.
Like you can't just like jump right back into this situation where you were so many years ago. Y'all are two different, totally different people with
Right.
different careers. You're in different stages of life. I think both of them needed that reality check person in their lives. I think I always have a person that's like a reality check person
Hmm.
that's in someone's life to because you can be in love and like jump into something and then you're over your head and you're like, "Oh, wait, I didn't think of that because no
Right,
one around me told
right.
me to think about this." You got to have someone like in your ear that's like, "Hey, uh,
Yes, and
like
I like this thing too where they're at the expo and
mhm.
testing out at the game. And that's what I was going to ask you as well before I go into that. Did you have to do any special research as far as for gamers and all of that as far
I
as creating?
did. That was fun actually. That was fun. So I used to work for a company that an internet-based company. We ran call centers and we ran our own cloud-based call centers. So I
Okay.
understood the business from that perspective. Um, but also like we sold cloud-based call centers. So like I understood it from that perspective of hosting and all that good stuff. But also I had to do a lot of like research. I was it's like the National Gamers of Color, Game Developers of Color, I think is the name. It's been a couple of years since I wrote that book. But there's like a couple of black focused gamers, game developers, gamer CEOs. I was like all up in their website, watching their videos, a couple of forums. I watched a lot of like documentaries about gamers trying to bring their games to the market. Um,
Mm,
Brandon telling Malik to get out of the sandbox all the time.
yes.
That was in one of the documentaries because one guy was always yelling at the dude to get out the sandbox. I need to fix something. Like get out of the game. You're messing it up. I'm not gonna mess it up. And then like the ins and outs of bringing a game to market. I had to read a lot about that. There's a couple of books
Mhm.
out about being an indie game developer. What are the advantages? What are the challenges? Like when you sell your game to EA Games or Microsoft Games or Xbox, like what is that? Why would you want to
Right.
stay indie? What is involved in staying indie? And I liken it to I think in the book I talked a little bit about where when we finally got a black princess, Tiana, but she was a frog throughout
Right.
78%
Right.
of the
Right.
movie. I feel like okay, yeah, you can have your black games, but we're gonna take it, and we're gonna strip everything black out of it.
Right. Right.
And we're gonna take all the music and we're gonna take all the lingo and we're gonna make the characters white, but you can keep the name of the game. So I wanted to bring that to the book as well, the struggles of being able to keep your own intellectual property and have it be the game that you wrote, that you published. I want my characters to say bet when you
Mhm.
when you start a new adventure. Did that character just say bet? I wanted like that little flair, that little
Right.
soul, that little flavor to know it's a Black owned game. It's Black written, Black backed, Black produced.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted Malik to be able to keep that. I also think about like being an indie author versus being a traditionally published author. When
Right.
you get a book and the publisher's like, I like this, but what if the characters on the front aren't Black? What if
Right.
it's not
Right.
India
Right.
and Malik? What if it's Irene and Mark? What do you think about that? And like, no, like I want this to be Hey Lover. I want the characters on the front to be Black. I want the title to be Hey Lover, because Black
Mm-hmm.
folks know this song. If
Right.
Elton
Right.
Cool J
Right.
don't start singing Hey Lover in your head when you look at this book, something wrong. Where you been? Like I wanted it to definitely.
Oh, you froze up for it. You look like you're freezing up. Uh-oh. Look like you froze up, DL. So I don't know if you should try to come back in.
I'm here.
Okay, there you are.
Test,
Okay.
test.
All
right, I'm. Apologies.
Our
Our
internet's
internet's having a struggle bus
being
sometimes.
live. We always have the technical stuff, but
right.
But I did love
it held on for a good long while though.
Right, I did love the scene between Malik and Tony, where Tony basically is like questioning, like India can't know what you do because she would never be with somebody who does games. She said, did you lie to her and tell her that you were a tech person and all of that? So
yes. Yeah.
And I love how Brandon also brought it back around. Like, why would you choose a lawyer that was your ex-girlfriend's boyfriend?
Yeah. I had a little trouble making that connection, but I feel like it worked.
Jennifer, I need you to take this for just a second.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes too, when Tony and Malik was interacting at that expo.
Yeah, I really like the scene between Tony and Malik at the door. At the door of her condo when he realizes who she's been with all night.
Yeah, that was my favorite scene too. It was like
that was a fun one.
She kind of got her lick back, but he didn't realize it.
No. Yeah, that was a fun one to write as well. I just wanted to like infuse like a little bit of like fun and some petty in it. Like India's real petty. But also he broke up with her. Tony broke up with her the day before, so he can't be mad.
Yeah, right. And another well, I like the whole theme when they was calling each other when they would say, hey lover.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually I felt like I had dropped a few of those because I felt like it was repetitive. But my beta said you need to, if this is a thing that they do when they talk to each other, every time they speak, they need to address each other as hey lover, because it's their thing. So like if you drop it, then people think there's something wrong. And so I was like, really? It's not repetitive? She's like, no, like this is their thing. It's their habit. It's their routine. It's like, it's the comfort of their relationship. And that's that's what people dig into. That's what people sink into when they are in a relationship with someone. It's the routine. It's the, he pumps your gas for you. It's the, he always brings you Skittles. It's the, he buys you something every time he goes to the store. That's their routine. And you have to bring it up every time they have a connection. They have to address each other in that way. And then I'm like, okay, I got it.
All right. I'm sorry for that. Thank you for continuing on. Okay, so before we're at our time, but I wanted to get in. One of the romantic moments that I loved in the scene was when Malik gave India the gift that he had for her over the years. That
Yeah.
was so sentimental, and that was the first time also that he told India that he still loved her. I love that scene between them.
Yeah. Very
Loved it,
sweet.
love it, love it.
I always like struggle with like the really sweet we call it the grand gesture moment. Like, what should it be, and how cheesy should it be, and how should they say the words? And so I hope that worked for the book. That's how it came out. So.
It did. I enjoyed it. Didn't you, Jennifer? What you think?
Yeah, it did. It really did because I was back there in my bedroom reading in my bed, and it just had me so engaged. And I was like, I wanted to see what happened next. And I said, one part of the book when Malik saw all that, I said, well, I hope he's not going to leave her again.
Yes.
So I was just, thoroughly invested and engaged in the whole book.
Yeah. It definitely would have tore her apart if he left again. And I think, her being brave enough to be like, I still care about you and that door is open, but you got no more times to walk out on me. We don't do it again.
Yes. And I understood her hesitancy. But she still, like you said, she put herself out there, and I love that too. And I love that they both, laid it on the line and told each other that they wanted to be in each other's lives. So
yeah.
All right. So we have come to our time. Before we go, we're going to get into the giveaway. DL has been gracious enough to offer some ebook prizes. So the first person, we're going to do 5 giveaways. So the first person to put the correct answer for each of these questions will be the winner. The first one is the first person who can tell me the name of DL's first published book. I hope you remember what she said. And please put it in the comments, the name of the first published book. Anybody? All right. And while they're doing that, let's go to the next one. When was the first book published? What year? Anybody know that? Yes, Katina, 2015. So you're one of our winners. We are our lucky winners. I already have your email, so I'll email you the link to download your book. If anybody already has Hey Lover and they win, let us know, and then you can DL will get you a different book. Ola 2015 was the year of the first that that is the year that she started writing 2011. What you think, DL? I guess we can do that one as well, because that's the year that you started writing.
Works for me. I'm very easy.
All right, Ola, you're also a winner. You're our second winner. Okay, now who can tell me what was DL's favorite romance movie? Anybody? That should be an easy one because we talked about it for a while.
Sure did, and I know it, but I already have a copy of
Katina has it, but you already okay, but that's the right answer. Pride and Prejudice, yes. Okay, now as far as self-care, what did DL says that she does as far as self-care? And she said a couple of things, so you can give me one or the other. Katina says she knows she can't win twice. Where my other people at? Baba Tony, where you at? You usually quick on the draw. Oh, I forgot. Ola, she doesn't do ebooks. I forgot about that. She only likes print books. Okay. Let me see, Antoinette. Oh, you said you put it in. What did you put? Let me see. Do you all see anything? Antoinette is. I don't see it. She said she put it in the chat. What did you put? Put it again, Antoinette. What was what did she say that she did for self-care? One or the two? Because she said a couple of things. Antoinette, can you put that one? Did you know the answer to that? I don't know which one you said that you put the answer to. Also, when DL is deep in writing mode, what does she do to get herself focused on finishing the book? Oh, Ola says she does read ebooks now. Okay, good.
Okay, good.
That's great. Okay.
To figure out how to get her a print copy.
Antoinette, I'm not sure what you mean. You said the POW for Hey Lover. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but do you know what she does for self-care or what she does when she's deep in writing mode to stay focused? And I'll keep just if you get the answer, we'll keep it going, and I'll keep an eye on the comments. You can go back and check out and the first people who put the correct answer for what she does for self-care and what she does when she's in writing mode to stay focused, and the name of the first book.
Yeah, some people may come back later.
Yeah, so I'll keep an eye on the comments for that. But so far we have Katina and Ola as winners, and I have both of your emails, so I'll send you email you the link so you can get your copy of the books. All right, so DL, I'll keep you posted as well once people continue to comment because they can go back and they can look back through it. Yeah. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I really enjoyed the discussion. Jennifer, did you have anything else to add before we sign off? Uh-oh. Seems like we've been having all kind of technical stuff going on. Oh, Antoinette says she owns Hey Lover already.
Oh, okay.
But she's saying that she can get you one of her other books. Mm-hmm. So if you can put one of the correct answers to either self-care, what she does for self-care, the name of the first book that she published, or what she does when she's deep in writing mode to stay focused, then you can win one of her other books.
Yeah, any other book that's in ebook, I can switch it out.
All right. So like I said, I'll keep look at the chat, and Antoinette, you can just put that in there, and then you can let her know which of her books is in ebook that you would like. All right. And Jennifer, I'm sorry, did you have anything else before we go that you wanted to say, or a question that you have for DL?
I just want to tell you, DL, I really enjoyed the book. And I'm definitely going to be reading more of your books because, like I said, I didn't realize I had Hey Lover on my Kindle until Cheryl sent me the link to purchase it, and I already had it.
Thank you.
the thing with avid readers, we have all kind of so much in our TBR that is
Yes,
ridiculous
I buy
sometimes.
way more than I read.
Yes, yes, yes. But again, great discussion. I really enjoyed the book, and like I told you, I'm gonna check out Brunch at Ruby's, and I loved Love Thing as well. I read that, and I'll check out some of the rest of your books in your catalog.
Thank you so much. I had a great time. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Before you go, do you have any new releases coming up or anything that you can?
I do actually. I have. So you said you read Beach Thing.
Mhm.
Book 2 in the Black Diamond romance series is called Elysium. That came out last fall. It is
Okay.
very steamy. I mean,
Ooh.
turn your pacemaker on. It's very steamy. That book is about two people who met on Instagram, and
Okay.
they meet for the first time on Black Diamond. It's a vacation romance. It's very decadent. I love it. So I am writing actually book 3 in that series. It should
Okay.
be out sometime this summer. My editor needs it by the first week in May. So it's Monday, and I'm about to log off and write. So that is where I am in the writing process. Like I gotta get this book written. So I'm working on that. Brunch at Ruby's turns 10 next year, so I'm already thinking
Ah,
about what I want to do for a special edition for that book. So that's kind of in the works right now. And then I have a small town small town romance series called Potter Lake. And I'm trying to write book number 4 for that series in the fall. And then I would like to write some new people, because I've been sitting in series for a minute and I'm
right,
not really
right.
a series writer. So people just keep asking and the ideas just keep coming. But I'd like to write, like, some new people, like do something really fun and different for 2025. So that's what's on my plate right now.
Sounds good. And I'll make sure to check out Elysium before the new book comes out. And
Yeah.
Antoinette saying the Kwanzaa brunch was good.
Thank you, Antoinette. That was another fun one. I enjoyed that one.
All right. And are you doing any upcoming in-person events this year?
No,
Okay.
I have nothing booked. Nope, I'm gonna
All
be in the house.
all right. Okay, well, again, thank you so much for coming on. I enjoyed our discussion. And like I said, I'm make sure to check out the rest of the books that we mentioned, and I'll keep you posted.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And thank you, Jennifer, for co hosting tonight. And thank everyone in the audience for coming out and being so engaged. And we'll see you next time.